Okay, so this is a tutorial on how to make a basic, well, very basic website using OpenElement web design software. So basically open the program wherever you have it. So here's mine. Now this is a tutorial for people with little to no experience using web design software, which was myself, incidentally, before using OpenElement. Okay, so click New Project. Give your project a name. So I'll call it Loving Website. I'm going to place it on my desktop. You can put it wherever you want. I only need this website in English, but you could also have an alternative language if you want to. You can change that later too if you need to. I don't want to use a template for this website, which I believe is the best way to learn. However, if you do want to do more advanced things, it is very handy to take pieces from the other templates and use them as you need. So click Create the Project. Okay, so there's two main website designs, I would say, that you can that I'm going to show you how to make. One is the static web page, which is basically has little to no scrolling and has multiple pages. It's your traditional website with a sort of index menu bar at the top. And then the scrolling web page, which is quite popular nowadays, which has almost everything on the one page. So it's infinitely scrolling. Clicking on the menu bar will take you to different areas of the one page. So this tutorial is on how to make a static page. So for this static page, basically we have the web page area here, or the page if you like, and then the page background. Now for the static page, I'm not really going to use the page background. I want everything to be in this page area, and I want it to take up the whole screen. So you can pretty much ignore the page background for this tutorial. So click on your page here or here. Over on your right on the toolbar, click Styles and then Customize. This is where you will do 90% of your work with OpenElement. So get used to this section. Now, first thing, I want to change the background. So click on background. You could put an image if you like. I'm just going to make it a plain color. So click the drop down menu. There's some set colors here and here. I'm just going to make it black, easy. Okay, so straight away, if we click up here on preview or F12, we can see what our website will look like. It's fine, but it doesn't take up the whole screen. And like I said, I don't want the page background for this one. So we need to make the page full size. So we'll close that. Sounds simple. It's not entirely. So click on page, customize, scroll down to dimensions. So we can see the width is 900 pixels. We're going to make the width 100% of the screen size. Okay, now the height isn't so simple. If we make it 100%, we'll take a look at that. You can see the width worked easily, but the height did not. If you want to know more about sizing with web design, I recommend doing some searching. I'm not going to explain that here. If you don't care, we're just going to make this 100 VH. Basically, if we preview it now, making it 100 VH instead of 100% will make it 100% of the viewing area, basically, which is what we want. So you don't really need to understand that. So now we have our base for the website. This will take up the entire screen and we can work from that. So let's start with a heading. So if you click on elements up here, here is where you can add everything, your headings, your links, images, whatever you want. So for my heading, I'll use either multi-line text or single-line text. I'm going to use multi-line because it's a little more flexible. So here it is. First thing I want to do is center it. So, sorry, right-click the text box, auto-centering, horizontal. Okay. I also want to go over the right here and positioning. So I've centered it, so I don't need this left distance. But the distance from the top, you can make it whatever you want. You can use pixels, or you can use a percentage. I'm going to make it 33%. So that I know that no matter what device I'm using, it's always going to be 1/3 of the screen height. Now, let's do some writing. So let's just, whatever you want. Oops. Okay, now, unfortunately, the default color is black, so you can't see it. So if I click on the box, now this is where OpenElement can be a little bit buggy and frustrating. Basically for colors and font, I'm going to use this section, but for the size, it's really important to use, well, it's not vital, but it will save you some headaches later if you want to make changes to a mobile phone sized page or tablet. Use the font size here. So font type, whatever you want. I might add a font. Special Elite sounds good. Color, purple. Okay, so down here we want to change the size, not up here. So up here you can change the size if you want, but like I said, it'll give you some headaches later when you want to make different sizes for different screen sizes for tablets and phones, etc. So if you don't understand that, basically, again, color, font up here for the size, just do it down here every time. So I'm going to make it say 32. Okay. Again, you wouldn't normally have to do that, but it's a little bit of a bug with OpenElement, but not the end of the world. And alignment, we're going to make it centered. And that's about it. Basically, the point is, wherever you can, use this toolbar and try not to use this section as much as you can for the whole website, and you'll tend to have less problems. Okay. So, there's my title. Let's have a look. Okay, cool. Now, we want to make the website responsive. That is, you can use it on mobile phones and tablets. Not sure why you wouldn't want to make a website responsive these days, but anyway. So if we make the window smaller, you can see that the writing moves with it. It's responsive. It doesn't stay here with scroll bars. It moves. So no matter what size your screen is, whether it's a mobile, say about that size, your website's still okay. Well, now an interesting feature of Firefox, I'm sure you have the option in other browsers too, but if you press Ctrl-Shift-M, you can do some testing with different devices. So if I click on, say an iPhone, that's what my page will look like. Or on a laptop, that's what my page will look like. Now, close that. Back to the website. Okay, so now we want a menu bar at the top of the screen or whatever. Again, on the right side, click Elements. And here, we actually want a group of elements. So if you drag that on, now it is what it says, basically. You can put more elements inside the group of elements. So let's first rename, well, let's rename our header first. Heading 1. Okay. And our group of elements, this is going to be our top menu, so top menu. Okay. Actually, let's call it group top menu. Okay. So, customize. Let's get the positioning correct. So, so top distance, I want 0. I want it to sit at the top. Left distance, not important. I want the width to be 100%, so it'll go right across. And the height, we'll leave that for now. Now, we want to add some links, basically, some text links, because it's our top menu. So let's add one. We won't worry about where it links to just yet, so just click OK. You can edit this later. And again, we want another one. Okay, and another one. Okay, perfect. So let's give them some names. Let's call this one home and about and say gallery. Okay, now straight away you can see that our menu is kind of scattered. You can put the links anywhere in the group of elements, and that's because if you click on the group of elements, click on properties on the right bar and scroll down, you can see that the positioning of inside the group of elements is absolute. If you click the box, you can change it to relative. Now again, you could do a search on this. You probably should, but briefly, absolute means that the everything inside the box is not relative to anything else. It can be wherever you place it, basically. Terrible explanation, but if you make it click on the box. If you make it relative, the items inside will be relative to each other. So simply put, absolute means absolute positioning, relative means relative positioning. Why would I want them? Why would I want absolute or relative? Well, in this case, relative is much more simple because I don't need the items to be scattered all over the place. I need them to be in one line together. And it also means that basically wherever you can use relative, you should, because when it comes to a responsive site and switching to mobile or tablet, everything will work much easier because yeah, I'll show you briefly. Okay, so really briefly. If we make the positioning absolute, okay, and preview. Okay. Okay, so first dilemma is that the colors are black, so we can't see them. Let's make them teal. Okay. Not cool. Okay. Welcome to some OpenElement bugs. So I'm gonna, again, this is why I suggested to use the right side for your colors, or for everything. So if we make the color of the text here as opposed to up here, let's make it teal. Okay, there it is. Okay, now this is fine, but as we make the web page smaller, see how the elements don't move. They're static, which we don't want. Okay. Well, you might want that. I don't want that. So if we make this relative, okay, let's just move them so they're on the same line. Okay. Now, if we click the group of elements, back to customize, change the height to auto, and that will wrap around the size of your items inside. Now, if we click on all of these, let's make them a little bigger. Again, let's use the toolbar, not the section up here. So let's make them 24. Let's change the font to let's add a font. Just another hand. Oh no, I don't like that. Okay, well, whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's give them some margin so they're not tightly packed together. So, outer margins. So let's make let's stick with percentages. You don't have to. The right side, 2%. See how it's created this marginal gap. And let's make the left side the same. Okay, so we have 2% of the entire width of the group of elements on the left side and 2% on the right. Let's also move the objects to the center. So, sorry, right click, alignment, center. Beautiful. Let's make the group of elements, let's position it. So don't need that. Top distance, let's say 10%. Let's take a look. Okay, nice. Now, theoretically, if we make it smaller, look at that. Beautiful. Because it's relative, the items will, they will stay relative, basically, to the page, which is great. However, sometimes we will have to use absolute positioning because, well, you'll see later. But when you can, use relative. So, nice. Let's close that. Now, notice how when we moused over the items, they turned blue. Why do they do that? Let's have a look. So, you can edit each item individually. I'm just doing them all at once just because it's easier. And if we go to customize, now here it is, state, normal. Okay, if we click that, mouse over, that's where they're changing to blue. Go down to your color. Let's change it to, I don't know, orange. That's horrible. Let's make it light blue. So now if we preview it, nothing happened. Okay. Let's try that again. Mouse over. Okay, this is where it gets really frustrating. So you're gonna have to switch between this bar up here and this bar down here, depending which works. So let's try up here. Let's make it turn to pale green. Okay, and that worked. Not sure why that happens, but sometimes you just gotta play around with it. But hey, it's free and it's open source, so. Now the other thing I noticed is when you scroll over the link, the cursor remains the same. We don't want that. So click them all again. You can also click them down here, by the way. And a good habit to get into with OpenElement or any web design software is to use the toolbars rather than this sort of point and click sort of simple method, which you probably might be more used to, but try and get into the habit of using these, and you'll see why later. So if we click these over here, click on mouse over, scroll down to cursor, and here you can change what the cursor will look like when you mouse over the item. So let's make it the typical hand preview. And voila, look at that. Perfect. Okay, so now we have a top menu and a heading, and we're ready to create some more pages. Okay, so let's create a, well, before we create another page, let's add one more thing to this. I'll show you why. Let's just add, say, an image. Now click on Elements, Image. I actually prefer to use Frame. I'll show you why. So I'll add in an image. Okay, so add files. So basically, OpenElement, rather than opening an image from wherever your image is located every time, it stores them in your web page folder. So it'll make a copy, which is really handy because if you move that image, whatever, it'll always stay with the web page. So it's a bit of a safeguard, I guess. So let's add an image which I pre-created called Cat Beast. Look at that beautiful image. Really nice, actually. Really like that. So let's select that. And there it is. Okay. Now at the same time, I'm going to insert a frame. Okay, which is blank. Why would we do that? So the image, you don't have a lot of options with it. You can yeah, well, you can change the size and the opacity. That's about it, really. Whereas frame, if we click on the background, we can put the image inside. Anyway. Okay. Now the beauty of that is that we have options here now. We can change the position inside the frame to center. Oh. And we can change the size so that it contains. So that, oh, okay, we don't want repetition, so let's make it fixed. And that way, whatever the size of the frame is, the size of the image will be. Okay. Again, might not seem so important now, but it's really handy when it comes to responsive websites and different sizing for tablets, smartphones, etc. Okay. So let's delete this one. Delete. Yep. Now we're gonna also auto center this, and it's a little too big for my liking, so let's make the height 100 and the width 100. Okay, great. Now, first problem here is the top distance. You remember that we made the top distance for the header 33%. So what should we do here? Because if we make the top distance 33%, it's going to cover the heading. If we make the top distance 40%, or say 50%, that's fine for this size screen. But perhaps on a larger screen, well, I'll show you. So as you can see, it's not ideal here. But if we make the screen bigger, okay, can't really do that. But theoretically, if you had a bigger screen, the distance would become greater because the percentage is greater. And eventually the cat image will be out of scale to the heading. It will be too far down or whatever. So, easy way to get around that is to create another group of elements. And this is just web design logic. If you're not familiar with it, you'll get used to it pretty quick. So we now have another group of elements. So let's rename this to group headings. Okay, while we're here, let's rename some of these as well. So rename to menu, home. Oh, let's call it link. Link, about, and link. Oh, sorry. Giving them the same name. Link home. Okay, we'll shrink that. Let's call the frame. Let's just call it frame, yeah. We know they're all going to be images, frame, cat. Okay. So now we could drag them into the box this way, but like I said, a good habit is to use the toolbars. So let's drag the heading. Let's expand the group headings. And we want to drag the heading 1 into content and the cat image into content as well. As I said, you could have done that manually using point and click. Now, straight away, I can see a problem. And that is that this group of elements, if you didn't remember, is set to, by default, they're set to absolute positioning. And that's why our two items are just scattered. They're covering each other. So if we click on properties, so click group, click on your group of elements, click properties, positioning, relative, bang. Okay. So now let's center the beautiful cat image. Let's center the heading. Okay, now it's got scroll bars, which we don't want. So let's make the width auto and the height auto. Okay, you can do that in properties. You can also do it in customize. Same thing. Let's right click the group of elements and auto center it. Okay, so, we need to have a fixed width. We can't have it at auto. that's okay. Sure. Let's make the width 350, that's fine. And now we can go back to our positioning, and we can keep it at 33%. Okay, but now the group of elements is at 33%, not the individual header or the image. Okay. So, what's happening here? Just a little slow. So basically, as we did with the top menu, we don't want the items to be so close together. So let's go to our outer margins and let's make them, say, 10 pixels from the bottom and 10 pixels from the top. So that way they're not touching. Okay, so let's take a look at our site now. Okay, great. There it is. Going to make the image opacity, it's a little bright, so let's make it 50. Okay. Didn't work. Let's make the entire frame. Oh, here it is. Opacity here. Okay, let's make it 50. Yeah, cool. Still too big, I think. 50. Nice. Okay. Beautiful. We have a very basic website. I'm going to make the distance from the top a little greater. Preview. Okay. Okay, so now we're ready to create some more pages so that we have something for our menu bar to link to. So let's save the project before we continue. Okay, so almost there. So let's create some new pages. So project, project, or down here we can click add item. Nope, doesn't like it. So let's click project, new. Okay, page name. Well, we have our home page. Let's go about. Page title, about, linked layer. Okay, I'll show you what layers mean in a minute. Page sections. Okay, we'll worry about those later. Okay, and we have another blank page now. We could go ahead and make them all the same manually. That is, you know, give it a black background, change the width and the height. I'm pretty lazy to do that, so let's close that. And let's just make a copy of the home page. And another one. And let's rename those to about and gallery. Okay, so if you double click those, gallery. Okay, now we have 3 pages that are all exactly the same. So let's start with about. Let's change the heading. Double click it. Oops. Okay. Okay, about. We'll cut that and we'll insert another multi-line text. Okay, now you can see the multi-line text. Okay, yeah, no, it's okay. I was gonna say you could see it didn't go inside the box. So best thing to do is, again, as much as you can, try and stick to the toolbars. Click on your multi-line text and move it into the content section of your group of elements, group headings. Okay. Let's rename these. So heading about text about. Okay. So in our text we can say whatever you want. This is info about kitten and pups. Kitten and pup and the like. Again, default color is black. Poor choice of background for a tutorial. Let's make it purple. And alignment center. Okay. Text alignment center. Okay. Let's go to our gallery page. Kitten and pup. Okay, let's change that to gallery, and let's delete that. Okay, so change the title, heading, gallery. Okay, so now we have our 3 pages that you can see on the top menu bar. Like I said, you could have just created new pages and made them however you want, but I want to keep them somewhat similar. Okay, so let's okay. So here's where it comes to layering. So a feature with OpenElement is something called layers. You'll see it on the left hand side here. Now our home page is using the, well, let's open the base layer to see what it looks like. Okay, it's blank. Basically a layer, it's just like a page. We can modify it however we want, and then when you click on another page and click on up here on layers, you can link it to none. Okay, which is what we're doing, or you can link it to the base layer. Okay, so anything I put in the base layer will now appear on this page. So what we could have done was made this top menu, because it's on all the pages. We could have put that on the base page, and then we wouldn't have to reinsert it to all these pages. I tend not to use the layers. Doesn't really help me that much. I find it more simple just to clone the pages. And yeah, there can be some bugs with it, but as a feature it's kind of useful, because if I wanted to edit this now, I would now have to edit every single page, which is a bit of a problem if I have, say, 5 or 6 menu items. But if I put this menu on the base layer, I would only have to edit it here. And it would subsequently change the menu for all the pages. I'll perhaps make another tutorial on layering, but for now we're not going to use layering. So you can make all the pages no layer. Okay, it hasn't changed anything anyway because the base layer has nothing on it. So let's close that. So now we just need to add the links and we're done. So click on the home page, click on your first link, click on properties, click down to link, and look at that, it has your pages here. So this was home, so we'll just click on home page, and you can see it's put the result here. Click OK, and do the same for the others. Link, about, OK, gallery, link, gallery, OK. So now let's just, for the hell of it, let's just throw in a image for the gallery. Check that in content. Styles, customize image for your background. Remember, I added a frame. So let's add a new one. This looks nice. I chose this from the internet because I like it, and I think it's a great picture. Really great. Look at that. Beautiful. So position, center him. Look at those centered eyes. Beautiful. Repetition, we want fixed, we don't want multiple cats here, and then we just want to contain the image inside, and look at that, you've got a gallery. So if we click back on our home page and preview, we have a very basic website. You can click on home, about, okay, little problem there, gallery. Okay, we're having an issue with our links. Okay, every time you preview, if you've done anything substantial and it's not working, you probably need to save all the pages. So just click Save All Pages, and now okay, and now they should work. So home, about, yeah, there we go, and gallery. No. Okay. Something's still not right there. No, it should be okay. Let's try it one more time. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, I think it's just playing up a little bit. Oh, no, it's not, because I didn't put links on the other pages. Sorry. Okay. Amateur mistake. So, of course, we have to... And again, this would be where perhaps layering would be useful. But because it's a simple page, we do need to change the links on every page. So, link to about, home, gallery. Okay, and then on gallery, same thing. Home, about, gallery. Okay, click back on home page, save pages, preview. Okay, and now it should work. About, yeah, gallery, about, and home. Okay, perfect. So that's it. That's your basic website. Looks a bit minimal and not great, let's be honest, but all your basic features are there, and from here you can add images, backgrounds, you can change the top menu, and and it will look however you want. The important thing is that it's totally functional, and most importantly, it's responsive, so you can use it on smartphones or tablets, whatever. So that is it. You have your kitten and pup website. So in another tutorial, I'll show you how to make a scrolling basic website. And I'll also make some tutorials on some basic features like pop-ups, and anchors, and you know, forms, blog, you know, whatever you want to do, because it's actually a really powerful piece of software once you get the hang of it, and quite easy to use. So thank you.